Spoilers ahead for the Lucky Season 1 finale. Lucky spent the entire season running from one disaster to another, but the finale delivers the one thing she has never truly had: a choice. After being manipulated by her father, hunted by the FBI, trapped between Wayne and Priscilla, and betrayed by almost everyone around her, Lucky finally reaches a point where she can decide what kind of life she wants. And the most surprising part is that her happy ending does not come from winning the money. It comes from finally walking away from the people who taught her that survival was all that mattered. The episode begins with everything closing in. Lucky is supposed to help bring Priscilla and Wayne into the hands of the FBI, but John's abduction has thrown the entire plan into chaos. Agent Gates is taken out, the pressure keeps building, and every character seems to be making one final move. Wayne remains the clearest monster in the story. William Fichtner plays him with a cold brutality that makes it impossible to mistake what he is. Wayne does not care about loyalty, family, or consequences. He wants the money, and anyone standing between him and that money becomes disposable. That makes his eventual downfall incredibly satisfying, especially because Lucky does not simply defeat him on her own. Priscilla finally takes control of her own fate and delivers the punishment Wayne has been avoiding for years. But while Wayne gets what he deserves, the bigger victory belongs to Lucky. She has spent the entire series learning how to read people, manipulate situations, and stay several steps ahead. In the finale, that ability finally pays off when she exposes corruption inside the FBI. Lucky reveals that Kershaw, Rand's boss, has been working with the people they are supposed to be hunting. His motivation is painfully simple: money. Kershaw never needed some complicated philosophy to justify what he was doing. He saw an opportunity, took it, and convinced himself that people like Lucky and John were hardly innocent enough to deserve protection. The revelation completely changes Rand's understanding of the case. She has been obsessed with catching Priscilla, but now she has to confront the fact that the system around her has been compromised from the inside. Priscilla's decision to let Lucky and John go is just as important. She is not suddenly transformed into a hero, and the series never pretends that she is. She has made terrible choices, but she understands what Lucky means to John and what Carrie meant to Lucky. After finally eliminating Wayne, Priscilla has nothing left to prove by killing them. Letting them walk away becomes her strange form of closure. For once, she chooses not to continue the cycle of violence. Then comes the moment that breaks Lucky completely. John gets the chance to choose between his daughter and the money, and he chooses the money. The flashback showing young Lucky nearly drowning in a hotel pool makes the decision even more devastating. John taught his daughter that danger was something she could manipulate, that pain was simply part of getting what you wanted. But Lucky finally understands the truth. The person who taught her how to survive was also the person who kept putting her in danger. Lucky's final test is therefore not about escaping Wayne or the FBI. It is about seeing her father clearly. She gives John the information needed to access the money, but the money has already been moved. She wanted to know what he would choose. When John chooses the fortune instead of her, Lucky finally has her answer. She leaves him behind, and the beach becomes more than an ending. It becomes the first place where her future belongs entirely to her. That is why the finale works as a genuinely happy ending. Lucky loses almost everything, but she gains something far more important: freedom. She does not need another scheme, another criminal, or another person telling her how to survive. She needs a life of her own. Lucky ends with Anya Taylor-Joy giving the character a quiet emotional release after a season built on chaos, betrayal, and survival. It is not a perfect ending, but it is an earned one. For the first time, Lucky is no longer running. She is finally walking towards something. Thanks for watching.